the world view that by 2030, India will be the third largest economy is not disputed anymore. That it will be an economy 11 trillion plus. It will be the third power after US and China. It will also have a military power, which probably will be one of the most capable military power which will be able to bring about the stability not only in the region but beyond. It's also felt that its technological prowess would be something that would be able to contribute substantially in the new and the niche areas of technology, may it be space, may it be cyber, may it be nanotechnologies, may it be more advanced technologies. But are Indians also as much excited about it? Do you see the mood? I was just trying to see that how many of the articles have been written about what India would look like in 2030. And I found that most of it is from the foreign origin. Some of them have copied, cut and paste here, doing a very poor job of it, but no original thinking has taken place in India. We don't have the mindset where we think long-term, strategic. Probably we lack confidence. We think that it's all very uncertain. It's all gas. It doesn't happen. And I was wondering, why is it? Why is this mindset of the Indians? And one of the explanations was this, that it is the inertia of the long years of slavery, bondage, subjugation. You live in the present. You live for today. Survival is my problem. Will I exist? And therefore, to me, something which is too remote is something very fearful, something very apprehensive. I am not too confident whether I'll be able to do that. Let me take care of my today. Probably tomorrow will take care of itself. So one is that the historical region. The explanation was this, that Indians are very individualistic. That's a psychological reason. That psychologically you think about yourself, and a vision always includes something which is collective. Something that you think beyond your own self. You think about your neighbor, you think about your street, you think about your country, you think about your community, you think about the society. And you say that, well, I've got hardly time, resources and capabilities to look and take care of my own self, well, who cares for the rest? So, an individualistic mindset, where even if you want to get moksha, you want to go to in seclude and become a hermitage and go to the Himalayas, you would like to get the sublimation all by your own self. It is not collective. You would not like to go for the collective praying, you would not like to go for war collectively. And that's what probably Sikhism brought to us, when Guru Gobind Singh realized it. That you have to eat together, that is, if you want to fight together, you have to eat together, you have to pray together, you have to live together. But probably there is another one reason that's more painful, and that was, I was reading, Mr. I.G. Patel talked about it something. He says Indians don't dream. He says the politicians are responsible for it. He says they built up so many dreams, and those dreams never came true. So they have refused to believe those dreams. They tell you about a good tomorrow to get the vote today. And that tomorrow never comes. Is it true? Let us be very objective about it. Let us not all be so self-deprecating. Do you know, in 1945, when India's population was about 32 crore, and we had the whole of Punjab, which later became the West Pakistan, and the whole of Bangladesh, which that time was East Bengal, and the population was 32 crore. And these were the two areas which were the granaries of India, one growing the wheat, another the rice. And there was a famine. And do you know how many people died in that famine? 5 lakh people died in that famine. I wonder how many people in this room know it. Nobody talked about it. 5 lakh. They could not be dug nor could be burnt. The Indian army was caught by the Britishers to dig the trenches and put the bodies in that. Probably the sad chapter of history is even forgotten even by the countrymen. Today we are 130 crore people. There is no more of that Punjab left, no more of that Bengal left. Today we are not that every Indian has got plenty of food, we have got plenty to export. We find that our additional production clears the glut in the market. The land is squeezed. You think the Indians have done nothing? Don't you think that we can be proud of it? Probably in the last 70 years we have progressed the way more than what most of the countries would have done for centuries. We are in cyber, we are in space, we are in technology, we have got the best institutions, and we have got the best human resource capital that we have built. So let us not be self-deprecating, and just because some of your dreams don't come true, don't stop dreaming. And I, as a security man, considered it extremely important. Because when your dreams start coming true, or when you stop dreaming, your will gets eroded. And when the nation's will gets eroded, it can never become a power. No army can fight whose will has been destroyed. Wars are fought not to kill. People are not the killers. Wars are fought to kill the will of the nation against whom we are fighting, so that it can accept to the peace terms which are acceptable to us. We destroy the will of the nation, will of the people, will of that nation. And if we ourselves are going to destroy the will of the nation through our negativism and cynicism, well, probably we'll have a very little future. And that is the painful thing, that the countrymen themselves do not feel upbeat about the future of India that the world is talking about. They do not realize their own strength. We can never be great unless our society and our people think that it is within us. We are capable of doing and achieving that. You know, coming back to my subject, that what are the pitfalls? What are the possible minefields that we should avoid? The first thing, avoid anything, counter anything, fight anything that erodes the national will. Build the will of the nation, and this nation will get built itself. There are plenty of forces, more within than outside, who probably are bent upon eroding the will of the nation. We are very fortunate that in the last 4 years or so, the country's national will has been aroused. They feel proud of the various new initiatives that have been taken and successfully been this thing. Yes, all these new experimentations, reforms and others are exothermic exercises. They create heat, they generate heat, so they create pain. No country can become big or great without experiencing some pain. We have to make some sacrifices for the coming generations. Don't forget that our past generations, who probably never lived to see the fruits of independence and the freedom, probably had made many sacrifices. Is it something that we cannot do in case there are certain hardships? These are the hardships that will ensure that your children and your grandchildren tomorrow will be able to live and breathe in a world, in a country where India is much more respected, India is much more powerful, India has got a much greater destiny. I think if somebody asks me what is the greatest contribution or what is the greatest achievement of India in the last few years, I will say that India has started realizing its strength, realizing its might, and that has started building up its national will. And this national will is reflected when we are able to take strong positions both within and outside the country. When we are able to follow our independent foreign policies which are in the best interest of our country, even when it comes to the major power relationships. We are here to serve the Indian interests, we can do it with confidence. But it requires the national will and will of the people. So I think the first pitfall that we have got to avoid is that we should not allow this national will to get eroded. But there are some other reasons also why I decided to talk on this. And that's what I was telling Mr. Surya Prakashji yesterday. One reason, of course, is a lot has been said about do's. Right from our childhood, we are taught, ऐसा करो, ये अच्छा करने से होता है, ये खाने से सेहत अच्छी होती है. There are a lot of things that what you should be doing. So there are a lot of people, poverty elevation होना चाहिए, urban development, you should have better food, better health, better roads, and all of them are extremely important. They have got to be there. So since plenty has been said on that, I said I will not talk about that. There's a lot of it already available. The second thing is, cost of negatives in life, at least in the security sense, is much higher than the dividends of the positives. If I do 100 good things in life, but if I lose one battle, probably that will be detrimental to the entire other major tactical victories that I might have fought, that I might have gained. You make your entire life and sacrifice it for building up a career, for building up a name, for building up a brand. And one mistake you do, and it neutralizes everything. So the negatives are more important. Don't underestimate that. Nations have failed more often, not because they failed to do the right things, but they did something which was wrong. Of course, there's one personal reason also. But how many of the men in this room are married? How many? Please raise your hands. Do you know what is the biggest contribution of your wife in your life? They prevent you from making mistakes. They tell you what not to do. Probably you may be a foolhardy, you may be more those things, you would like to take greater risks, you would like to go for greater adventures than others. They work as a brake. Not that they completely stop the vehicle, but they slow it down and keep it below the danger mark. So that is why, just think of had Hitler not moved into Russia, he had won the Second World War. He did one mistake. He did everything, what I mean is that from his point of view, he did everything right in completely trumpeting over the entire Europe. One mistake and he did. If Mussolini had not invaded Greece. If Japan had not bombed Pearl Harbor. If the Soviets had not moved into Afghanistan. If Nehru had not neglected the advice of Sardar Patel on Kashmir, and if after the 1970 elections, after the 1970 National Assembly elections in Pakistan, Awami League, which had the largest number of seats, absolute majority, they would have allowed Mujibur Rahman to become the Prime Minister. There would have been no Bangladesh. One mistake. So avoid the mistakes.